Hey guys, I am Justice bringing you another video from the Diablo 3 PTR for patch 2.4. Today we're going to be looking at a build for the Witch Doctor. We're going to be going over the reworked Jade Harvester set. This actually used to be one of the better sets for the Witch Doctor. Funny enough, it's actually kind of been overtaken by another reworked set, the Helltooth, which is probably the best thing the Witch Doctor can be doing on live. But they reworked the Jade set, and I have to say I like it a lot better. So let's look at what it's doing. The 2-set bonus is actually one of the biggest and most important changes that they've made. When you haunt an enemy that's already been haunted, instantly deals 120 seconds worth of haunt damage. That is a lot of damage. Really nice. It gives you a constant source of DPS, which the old Jade set didn't. The 4-set bonus, Soul Harvest gains the effect of every rune, and has its cooldown reduced by 1 second every time you cast Haunt or Locust Swarm. It's really nice because it means that your Soul Harvest is going to be available very frequently, which is very good because of the 6-set bonus, which is that Soul Harvest consumes all of your dot effects on enemies, instantly dealing 300 seconds worth of remaining damage. Huge damage, especially when you stack multiple damage over time effects. So, what are we using to complement that? For the weapon, something that has cold damage, I'm using an Azure Wrath, not amazingly well rolled, it's not ancient or anything, but it does give cold damage. You can craft an Utar's Roar even, if you just need something to start with and you don't currently have anything, that's perfectly fine. Belt, we're looking at Haunting Girdle, because it releases 1 extra spirit on Haunt, which is very nice. The more enemies you can tag with Haunt, the more quickly you can get out your damage. As far as new items go, we're looking at Lakumba's Ornament for our bracers. Reduces all damage taken by 5% for each stack of Soul Harvest you have. Given how frequently your Soul Harvest is available, you should pretty much always be at full 5 stacks. That's an extra 25% damage reduction, which is really nice. The Mojo has changed. It used to be different, but now we're looking at a new one. Vile Hive gives us our Locust Swarm the effect of the Pestilence rune, and deals anywhere between 45 to 60% increased damage, which is really helpful. The rest of the stuff, I'm honestly just using random jewelry. Convention of Elements is nice. If you can make sure you have the right element when you pop your Soul Harvest, obviously it's going to do even more damage, but even without it, it's not a big deal. Just using a random ring with intelligence, crit damage, crit chance, and socket. Same thing for my amulet. As far as gems go, esoteric alteration, again for that damage reduction, which is very important because you are constantly running right into the middle of packs to pop your Soul Harvest, so you definitely need some damage reduction. Gem of Efficacious Toxin is really nice because it gives you just another dot effect that you're putting on things and detonating with your Soul Harvest. And Bane of the Trapped, you're pretty much always going to have this thing working for you, so it's very good. As far as what we're cubing, for a weapon, just doing the Furnace, get that bonus elite damage. For the armor, it's going to be Quetzalcoatl, which I'm sure I pronounced incorrectly. Don't know how to pronounce that, but that's how I've always said it, so that's what we're going with. Locust Swarm and Haunt now deal their damage in half of the normal duration. Really helps your overall DPS. And Unity, we're going to be doing a double Unity with the Follower with an Immortal Relic on him, so that gives us another 50% damage reduction. So let's look at the skills. Haunt, Resentful Spirits, is the most obvious thing here. This is why we're stacking cold damage, because Haunt is your biggest source of damage. The Resentful Spirits gives you an extra spirit, so it becomes 2 instead of 1. And then with the belt, it'll become 3 instead of 2 that you're releasing with every cast. Soul Harvest, Languish, you are getting every rune of Soul Harvest because of the set. So we're choosing Languish because it is going to be cold damage. Piranha's Piranado. I want to use the cold rune, but honestly, just the vacuum effect that the Piranado rune has is just really good. It gives extra crowd control, and it's still available pretty frequently even with the increased cooldown, so definitely think that's the way to go. I've been testing out Grasp of the Dead. It's just another damage over time effect. The Unbreakable Grasp rune has the advantage of being cold while also giving another source of pretty good crowd control, so I've been running with that. I've been enjoying the effect so far. Locust Swarm. So before, you would always go with a Pestilence rune. So it would jump to 2 enemies instead of 1, so it just applies the dot to more enemies more quickly, which you need for this set. But now, we're getting this rune for free. So instead of going with Cloud of Insects, enemies affected deal 25% reduced damage. Again, you are pretty much in melee range. You're technically a ranged class, but you're playing almost as melee. So every bit of damage reduction you get definitely helps. And then Spirit Walk Jaunt, again, just the ability to either move through a rift more quickly. If you're doing fine, you just need to get from place to place faster. But more often than not, it's so once you get into a pack, you can get out without taking a whole bunch of damage or getting crowd controlled. As far as passives, you definitely have options. The ones that are 100% required are Creeping Death. The most important abilities that you have are their dot are going to last forever, which just really, really helps. Gives you a lot more damage over time. Grave Injustice also, this is an old standby from the old Jade set. You're going to gain life and mana whenever something dies. You're also going to reduce the cooldown of all your skills by 1 second, which is really, really important. It makes it so that your Piranhas, your Spirit Walk, those things are available much more frequently than they would be otherwise. So it just makes it so you're constantly able to spam everything that you have. Jungle Fortitude, again, just damage reduction, very, very important. This is probably the one that you have the most flexibility with. Right now I'm doing Rush of Essence, so whenever I cast Haunt or Spirit Walk, I gain 100 mana back over 10 seconds, because you want to be using Locust Swarm a lot, but this thing costs a lot of mana. That's 300 mana, it's a lot. So constantly getting my mana back means I can spam Locust Swarm as much as I want. Now you do have other options. You could go Spiritual Attunement if you just want to do that for mana regen instead. Pierce the Veil if you feel like mana costs are not an issue and you're really willing to push that boundary. You can get a lot more damage. Of course, your mana costs are going to be a lot higher. There's a few different things that you can do, really whatever makes you happy here. This is what I'm running with right now. And last but not least, I don't think we've gone over Paragon points yet, so let's do that real quick. As always, movement speed just enough to get to the 25% cap, then dump the rest in intelligence. Here, crit damage and crit chance are going to be your first two, of course. Between attack speed and cooldown reduction, I like the CDR just to make sure I have everything back as quickly as possible. Attack speed isn't super important. It does help you cast Haunt faster, so it's not worthless, but I do feel the CDR takes priority here. In the defense tree, resist all, then armor, then life regen last. In utility, area damage is good, resource cost reduction always good, life on hit then, and then of course gold find is last. So that's the build, and now of course you're going to want to see it in action, I assume. So like we've done with the past couple of videos, I'm just going to put in a slight break here just for those who wanted to skip ahead. But let's get into some gameplay, so hang on for 2 seconds and we'll get right into it. Alright, if you just skipped ahead to this part for the gameplay, well, you're in luck, because that's what we're about to do. And if you sat through the whole video, do appreciate that. We are going to show this off in a Greater Rift. I did just finish this set. I've played around with it a little bit, so I know how I want to play it. But my gear is not the best. I don't have much in the way of ancient stuff. My weapon's not that great. So we're going to start in the low end of the 50s. Again, this is not a guide of watch me try to push the top end of the ladder, but it should give you an idea of what you need to do if you want to do it. So again, we're going to go into the 50s. As I said, it's certainly not the highest thing in the world, but we'll give you an idea of how this build is going to play. The weakness of the previous Jade Harvester set is when there were just a few enemies, you had to burn your Soul Harvest just to kill them, because you had no other way of killing things. Now, you can see I'm just showing off just Haunt. This is just Haunt, nothing else. I'm using no other abilities right now, and look how it chunks things. I just wanted to show that off real quick, because that's, 5 billion, whatever, that's a lot. So if there's just a few enemies, you actually can take care of them effectively, whereas in the past you can't. When there's a group, you just put a few of your dots on, the Haunt, the Locust Swarm, we can use Piranhas, and you see how important the damage reduction is. I would be dead. You just jump in, bam, Soul Harvest, and I am also dead. So you see why I'm talking about damage reduction. Like, you're super squishy. This build is not for the faint of heart, let's put it that way. But again, you just want to get Haunt and every dot as much as you can on. You go in, you Soul Harvest, you pop it, and things just kind of drop dead, which is really nice. And because of our passives, and there was your elite pack, because of our passives, every time something dies, our cooldowns are reduced. And Soul Harvest cooldown is reduced because of the effect from the set, so it's really, really nice. So again, we have a pack here, just throw everything at them, pop Soul Harvest, and watch them go away. Again, and also Spirit Walk is really nice too for when you're kind of stuck in the middle of things and you need to get out. It'll take care of that too. So it's beautiful, and it's up all the time, which is really nice. Again, I'm just going to pop everything here. Just, man, you have to... positioning is super important. It's actually interesting. Sometimes I feel like I get more damage output just from spamming Haunt than I do from actually using the set the way it's supposed to be. It's bizarre. It's not really that way, but it does sometimes feel that way. But again, just Haunt, Haunt, Haunt. Look at that. So we're going to pop our Locust Swarm, pop our Grass of the Dead, make sure Haunt is on everything. Again, make sure Haunt is on all targets that you're hitting with your Soul Harvest before you pop it, or else you're kind of just wasting damage. But you can see that, yeah, that was 11.8 billion on that crit, I believe. So, take back what I said. This didn't used to be able to crit. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I've been watching it crit as I've been playing. It does now, so that's new. But yeah, you see when you can just set up your dots on the packs, it's really, really nice. See? Bam. You just go in and hunt everything. I've always enjoyed the Jade playstyle. I do think it's a bit iffy when compared to some other things, but just having the nuke everything in front of me button, I personally find very enjoyable. So if you like that kind of thing, then yeah. So and it's really amazing actually. You know, they rework these sets and they take things that weren't good and make them good. And the Jade was always fun, but again, you had the problem of all your damage was only on that nuke button. I need to be careful here. And you see, like, as soon as I, get dots on a pack, you just pop Soul Harvest and they are dead. Very dead. And we'll see with these elites here, just trying to make sure we get our dots on all of them. And there you go. And there's Soul Harvest, and they're dead. But again, the weakness of the set used to be that if you didn't have Soul Harvest available, you had no damage, and you kind of just had to wait for it to come back. So now, not only do they make its cooldown easier to manage, because it's now reduced every time you cast Haunt or Locust Swarm, which were the two skills that you always used with the set anyway. But you actually have damage even when it's off cooldown, which is especially important if you're just trying to kill a single target, for example. You're not always going to have it available. So the haunting, when you haunt a target that's already haunted, that used to do nothing. You used to just refresh the duration. That's all it used to do. So the fact that now that actually does a whole bunch of damage with the Jade set, it's really nice. Just really, really nice. And you still have the option to, put down dots and nuke things. So that's really the playstyle that you're going for. Like, you can never do that in the past. I love that. I cannot overstate how important that addition to the set was. I feel like I'm only talking about that, but I want to really just make it clear just how important it was that they introduced that. So now you constantly feel like you're doing something. Whereas before, there were times you just felt like all you were doing was waiting for the cooldown of Soul Harvest. And that's not the case anymore, and it is absolutely fantastic. And, there's been times, like, if you're not used to the playstyle yet, you might, try to Soul Harvest because, you're ready, but you didn't actually get your dot on everything, so it doesn't immediately kill everything. And if that happens, well, you still have damage output now. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, you just really, you really need to watch your positioning. The nice part is that one of the runes of Soul Harvest, and again, you do get every rune, is it gives you life back for each enemy hit. It gives you armor, damage reduction, all that. So it's really nice, but your positioning is extremely important. And again, that's why I stress damage reduction. Because without it, you are, you're gonna take some punishment. And you can see, like, even in a large pack like that, as long as I'm positioning properly, making sure my dots are on everything, I can just pop my soul, go in there, pop Soul Harvest, and they are done. As for how good this set is right now, I'm honestly not sure. I think it's certainly a riskier playstyle than doing something like, say, Helltooth, the new Helltooth. I think it has a lot of fun value to it. As I said, I've personally enjoyed the Jade set for quite a while. See, like there, you know, all I did was land a Haunt. I should have put multiple dots on it, and I didn't. I didn't do my Locust Swarm for some reason. I didn't do my Grasp of the Dead or my Piranhas. All I did was Haunt. So when I Soul Harvested the other time, it didn't kill anything, or it killed like one thing. And in the past, I would have just been sitting there running away, waiting for my cooldown to come back. So yeah, it's certainly a much more viable playstyle now, I'd say, for pushing higher. Again, exactly how viable it is, I don't know. I'd have to spend more time with it again. I just very recently completed the set here, so I'm not sure. I haven't tried to push it very high yet. I'd certainly be interested to. I would need, you know, slightly better gear than what I have right now, but I'd be interested to try to see if it can push higher, greater rifts. Again, I'm really not sure if there is a scenario in which it is better than, say, Helltooth, but that right there is why I kind of want to find out. Saw that huge pack. A bunch of the elites and stuff, just popped them. That's what's up, and that's why I love this set, because I haven't yet found another set that just gives me the same level of satisfaction of just seeing a whole bunch of high health enemies a pack, just run in there and they all just pop immediately. It's really quite fantastic. So yeah, I don't know exactly how good the set is. It's certainly fun, and that's worth something, I think. But yeah, I will reserve judgment until I have gear that will lend itself more to pushing greater rifts. This right now, it can certainly do, you know, low to mid 50s with my current gear. That's no problem at all. But, you know, if you're really trying to push greater rifts, you know, your goal isn't to end at, you know, low 50s. If, again, you just want a reasonable Witch Doctor set and you want a different playstyle that, you know, can do greater rifts, just, you know, can do them, and then this definitely is something you can look at, for sure, even without having great gear. But, I mean, that's the case for, you know, no matter what you're doing. You know, if you don't have great gear, you're not pushing, you know, into 60s or 70s. Like, that's just part of the game, so I definitely think it's reasonable. It's certainly a whole lot more viable than it was, or than it currently is on live. I'll say that. It's a whole lot more viable now. Significantly better. So take that for what it's worth. And we are going to spawn the Rift Guardian any moment now. Just try to get Haunt on as many things as I can and pop them. So on the Rift Guardian, it's a whole lot easier to know if you have your dots on or not. So I'm just going to show all dots are on right now. Their Soul Harvest is quarter of health. And as I can just pop Haunt, you'll see that that's doing quite a bit of damage on its own. Soul Harvest. But just repeatedly popping Haunt is actually a huge amount of damage. So yeah, the Rift Guardian's actually a piece of cake as long as you don't die. And that one is very, very easy. So yeah, it's a great set. It's so much better than the current live version. If you're looking for a different style of Witch Doctor, if you're looking for something that isn't pet-based in any way, whether those pets be dogs or fetishes or zombies or whatever, you're looking for something that's all you, this is the build for you. It's a lot of fun. They did a great job improving the set, and I do think it's viable. Alright, so that will do it for this video. If you haven't yet, check out the 10 Ton Hammer channel. This video is posted on. There are several other PTR videos on there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I might not. I don't think I'm going to have time, but I've enjoyed doing them so far. If you did like this content, please leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, you know, all that good stuff YouTubers always say. But yeah, I'd definitely like to know your guys' thoughts. If there's any change in format you'd like to see, or anything in particular, any build that I haven't covered yet that you'd really like to see, I'll see if I can get it in there. But yeah, just really would be interested to hear your guys' feedback. But either way, hope you enjoyed. Check out the other videos, and I will catch you next time.